7 questions manipulators use to test if you're easy to use. Introduction: the interview you didn't know you were in. Before a manipulator invests serious effort in anyone, they run an assessment. It looks like small talk. It feels like getting to know each other. In reality, it is a structured interview, and the position you are being considered for is resource. Your time, your money, your emotional labor, your connections, all of it is being appraised, and the appraisal happens through questions. This is the part almost nobody teaches. Manipulators rarely open with demands. Demands are expensive, they can trigger resistance, exposure, refusal. Questions are cheap and nearly invisible. A well-crafted question extracts intelligence about your boundaries, your guilt sensitivity, your loneliness, and your capacity to say no, all while you believe you are simply chatting with a curious, attentive person. Attentive, yes. Curious, absolutely. But not about you as a person, about you as a system with entry points. In this article we will decode 7 of these testing questions. For each, you will learn what it sounds like, what data it actually collects, what your answer reveals, and how to respond so that the assessment quietly concludes with the only verdict you want: too expensive, not worth the effort. Read them once and you will start hearing them everywhere, at work, in dating, in families, even in sales calls. That is not paranoia. That is literacy. Question 1. You seem like someone who never says no to people, right? Sometimes it is phrased admiringly: "You're such a giver, aren't you?" And sometimes as gentle teasing. Either way, this question is a direct probe of your refusal capacity, the single most important variable in a manipulator spreadsheet. A person who cannot say no is a person whose resources are, functionally, community property. Notice the trap in the framing: the question is wrapped in praise. Agreeing feels like accepting a compliment. Yeah, I guess I do have a hard time turning people down, and just like that, you have handed over the master key and confirmed it works. The manipulator now knows that requests aimed at you do not require justification, only persistence. The strong response separates kindness from compliance: I say yes when I want to. I'm also very comfortable saying no. Delivered lightly, with a smile, this single sentence rewrites your file. You are still marked as kind, but kind with a lock on the door, which is a completely different security rating. Question 2. Who do you usually talk to when things get hard? On the surface, this is warm and empathetic, the question of a caring friend. Underneath, it is a network scan. The manipulator is mapping your support system. Do you have close friends? Family you trust? A partner you confide in? Or are you, in the way that matters, alone? Isolation is the manipulator's favorite terrain. A person with a strong council of trusted people is a hard target, because everything the manipulator does will be reviewed by outside observers who are immune to the charm. A person with no counsel reviews everything alone, inside a perception the manipulator is actively shaping. Your answer to this question tells them which case you are, and if you are lonely, whether they should audition for the role of the only one who truly understands you, the position from which all serious exploitation is conducted. You do not need to lie, but you also do not need to hand over the map. I've got good people around me, is a complete answer. If you are in fact isolated right now, treat that as your own private strategic information, and as a genuine priority to fix, because rebuilding even one honest confidant halves your vulnerability to everything else in this article. Question 3. Don't you ever feel like nobody appreciates everything you do? This one is bait-shaped like sympathy. It targets a very specific fuel source: unacknowledged resentment. Most conscientious people carry some: the overtime nobody thanked them for, the family duties everyone takes for granted. This question locates that reservoir and, if it finds one, taps it. Watch what happens if you take the bait: honestly, yes. At work I do everything and my manager takes the credit. You have just handed over 3 assets at once. First, a grievance the manipulator can validate to build instant intimacy: you deserve so much better. Second, a hunger they can feed strategically, becoming your sole source of appreciation. Third, targets. Now they know exactly whom to badmouth to pull you closer. The classic isolation script, they don't value you, but I do, is built entirely from material you supplied in this one answer. The disarm is gratitude-forward honesty, sometimes, sure, but overall I feel pretty valued. Even if it is only mostly true, this answer drains the pond. A person without exploitable resentment offers no crack to pry open, and appreciation offered to someone who already feels appreciated purchases nothing. Question 4. Can you keep a secret? Even from your partner, your family? Here the interview turns technical. This question tests whether a private, unmonitored channel can be established with you, a communication line that your natural auditors will never inspect. Everything serious a manipulator does requires such a channel, the special requests, the reframing of events, eventually perhaps the things you will be too embarrassed to report. The question often arrives disguised as trust or excitement, a secret opportunity, a confidential complaint, gossip too juicy to share. But strip the costume and look at the mechanism. You are being asked, early and abstractly, to pre-commit to concealment from the exact people whose judgment protects you. An honest person occasionally needs discretion about a specific, legitimate thing. Only an operator needs a standing policy of secrecy installed in advance. The answer that fails their test beautifully depends on the secret. I don't keep the important stuff from the people I trust. You have just told them the channel will always have witnesses. For an honest friend, that changes nothing. For a manipulator, it kills the project at the planning stage, which is the cheapest possible place for you to win. Question 5. What would you do for someone you really loved? Or its workplace twin, how far would you go for the team? These hypothetical devotion questions look philosophical, even romantic. Functionally, they are pre-authorization forms. The manipulator is trying to get you to sign, in the abstract, commitments they will later cash in the concrete. You said you'd do anything for the people you love. Well, the mechanics rely on a quirk of self-consistency. People feel intense pressure to act in line with their previous declarations, even ones made casually over coffee. Grand abstract promises, anything, everything, no limits, are cheap to make and brutally expensive to honor, and manipulators are professional collectors of exactly this debt. Answer hypotheticals with structure, not poetry, for people I love. A lot, within my values and my limits. Love doesn't mean no boundaries. Some romantics find this answer unromantic. Notice, though, that people who genuinely love you find it reassuring. It means your yes is real. Only someone planning to spend your anything is disappointed to learn it has terms. Question 6. It's not a big deal, but could you just quickly? Unlike the others, this question is not verbal reconnaissance, it is a live-fire test. The minimizing frame, not a big deal, just, quickly, tiny favor, is the tell. The favor itself barely matters, what is being measured is your process. Do you evaluate requests, or do you auto-comply? Do you ask clarifying questions? Do you check your own schedule first, or does the word, just, bypass your entire decision-making apparatus? Manipulators run this test in escalating series, the famous foot in the door. Each granted microfavor recalibrates the baseline, and because every individual step is, not a big deal, there is never an obvious moment to object. 6 months later you are doing their work, lending them money, and covering for their absences, and you cannot point to the day it became abnormal, because there was no such day. There was a slope. The countermove is to treat small requests with full-size process, cheerfully. Let me check what I've got on, I'll tell you in an hour. You are not refusing, you are demonstrating that nothing bypasses evaluation. To an honest requester this looks like ordinary adulthood. To a tester, it reports the one thing that matters, no autocomply function found. Question 7. You wouldn't want people thinking you're selfish, would you? The final question is the crudest and, on the right target, the most powerful. It probes image hostage potential. How much will you pay to protect your reputation as good, generous, easygoing, professional? The phrasing varies. Everyone else agreed already, I told them you'd help, people are starting to wonder about you, but the mechanism is constant. Your self-image is picked up, held over the ledge, and offered back at a price. People pleasers are devastated by this question. Their goodness is load-bearing, threatening. It feels like an existential attack, and they will pay almost any toll to end the feeling. The manipulator knows this and needs to confirm it just once. After that, what will people think becomes a lever installed permanently in your control panel. The liberating answer requires one internal shift. Your character is defined by your actions over time, not by any single refusal, and certainly not by the review of the person currently squeezing you. Out loud, it sounds like this: if someone decides I'm selfish because I said no once, that's a them problem. Calm, almost amused. The lever comes off in their hand. There is genuinely nothing left to squeeze. Conclusion: failing the interview on purpose. 7 questions, 1 interview. Can you refuse? Are you alone? Are you resentful? Can you be moved to a private channel? Will you pre-commit? Do you auto-comply? Can your image be held hostage? Every manipulative relationship you have ever witnessed, the exploited friend, the office doormat, the partner who vanished into someone else's needs, began with strong answers to this questionnaire. Not because those people were weak, but because nobody told them an interview was happening. Now you know, and knowing changes your role in the room. You can hear the questions as questions, admire the craftsmanship if you like, and hand back answers that tank your candidacy one by one. No confrontation is required, no accusations, no drama, just a series of pleasant, solid, boundaried replies that make the assessor's spreadsheet spit out its final verdict: high cost, low yield, look elsewhere. One final note on calibration, because good people always ask it: what if I'm being unfair? What if they were just making conversation? Then nothing is lost. Every answer recommended here is perfectly pleasant to receive in good faith. An honest person who asks about your support network hears, "I've got good people around me," and moves on happily. Only an operator experiences that answer as an obstacle. That is the beauty of this defense system: it punishes nobody innocent. You are not accusing, testing, or withholding warmth. You are simply answering well, and good answers, unlike accusations, require no evidence and cost no friendships. And here is the quiet bonus nobody mentions: these same answers make you better company for honest people. Boundaries, evaluated yes, a real support network, resentments actually addressed. This is not armor that isolates you. It is the profile of someone worth knowing, built from the very habits that make you impossible to use. The interview will keep coming, in new rooms, from new faces, for the rest of your life. From today, you fail it on purpose, every single time, and that failure is one of the finest achievements available to a good person in a complicated world.